He's ready. He's poised. Okay, there's part one. Now finish him off. Finish him off. He's calling for it. This is it. This is it. Your career's on the line here. Do it. Do it. This place will erupt when he picks him up. He's got him up. Oh, hell yeah. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We've got a new heavyweight champion. Climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous. I just had an out-of-body experience. What did we just see? What did we just see? He got him in a power slam! He got him in a power slam! He got it! Simmons got it! Simmons has won the match! Simmons is a champion!
I've always maintained that reality is for people who can't face drugs.
Shit is about to get real.
You get to see your knee. Knee. Shit.
Look at the stare of the champion against the challenger.
What?
And now, Straight Talk Society presents Wrestling with Reality.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport. The biggest match in pro wrestling history.
The two biggest superstars in our sport in the biggest event the sport has ever seen. The biggest match in the history of our sport.
Trying to run a little scalded dog here. Enough is enough. That's enough. No! Oh, God, that's enough! Stop it! Man, listen. Marriage tougher than a $2 steak. Who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Then slam, toe slam. Who's your daddy, Undertaker? Lucifer's lips on the biggest size in the WWE. Somebody stop this. Somebody stop the damn man. Enough's enough.
What?
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Dennis got it real. Woo!
WWE Dynamite.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time. Let's rock.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
So to escape from reality?
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I am reality.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Oh, it's live, pal.
Let the slaughter begin! It is now time for
With reality.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Junior, look at this.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Number one to be the man, baby. You have to beat the man. Heavyweight champion of the world. The time is now. Reality has become the present, and the final lesson of the pain game has begun.
Have you ever heard a joke like that in your life?
You are gonna wrestle my ass for the world title. You will have to kill me to keep me from killing you. Woo!
The 90s have been referred to as the reckoning with truth. In the 80s, everything was clouded. Nobody ever told the truth. In the 90s, the way to go is flat out. Tell no lies. That's the way we're gonna do it. When you hear something from our lips, truth it may be, and as much as it may hurt, you can count on it being exactly the way that it is.
We want the gold, sucker! Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga!
Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? This
Excuse me. This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode, a special edition of Wrestling with Reality. Oh, but this is shout out to my co-hosts Venkat and MD. But today this is going to be one that I go alone. Shout out to the best moderator in the business, Keela, Ricardo. I saw Patricia Moser earlier. Shout out to Xavier Martinez. Yes, this is Royal Rumble Saturday. So I had a grand old time last night and I decided that I'd come on and just do a review show. The reason why we aren't going to do this particular review this Wednesday on Wrestling with Reality is because we had so much to talk about. This Wednesday, Wrestling with Reality is going to be two shows. You're going to have the first show at 6:45, which will be strictly the Royal Rumble review. Then at 7:30, 7:45, we're going to have a totally different show because Mr. Vinnie Mac has gotten himself into a world of trouble. And we are going to dedicate that last show to talk strictly about Vince McMahon and all these new allegations, the lawsuit that's been filed against him. Hey, so if you want the drama, if you don't get to see our Man Talk Monday show, come by Wednesday because this is basically going to be Man Talk Monday with a wrestling theme. So I didn't want to end up having a 10-hour show doing all these reviews and this and that. The Royal Rumble review is strictly going to be the Royal Rumble. We aren't talking about any weekly shows. You guys know I go over the ratings. I do the weekly shows and this and that. We aren't doing that this week. That's why I'm doing this Smackdown show now because I was at Smackdown last night. So I want to go over that. Everybody knows, if you listen to me for more than a minute, you know that I love wrestling. I've been watching wrestling since I was 5 years old. I'll be 44 this year. So you do the math. I've been watching this for a long time and I love it. I love the live experience, but what I love more is to see the look on my daughter's face when she's there live. And it just reminds me of how I used to be and how they work you and how they get you all in a tizzy. There's a particular match that she legit broke down in tears, but we'll get into all of that. What I'm not gonna do is I have a bunch of videos, but I'm not going to play them. And the only reason I'm not going to play the videos that I took last night is just because WWE has hit my channel with a ton of copyright claims. So I don't want to play the videos from last night and then the video gets struck with all these copyright claims. What I'll do, I'll upload them in the shorts. So worst case, if they hit my shorts, fine. I don't want to mess with my videos. But before I get into this review, y'all please make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Now, here we go. So I live in Florida. I mean, everybody knows that. And we pretty much live, I'd say we're probably about 30 to 40 miles away from the arena. So the show took place last night at the Casilla Center, which is in Miami, Florida, the home of the Miami Heat. And it took at least an hour and a half to get there. First of all, Xavier says he almost went to Smackdown, but plans changed and now he's Rumble Brown. Hey, that's the ticket. That's the ticket that you want, Xavier. That Royal Rumble ticket. I went to a Royal Rumble before. I don't know if you've been to one. I went to the 2006 Royal Rumble that Rey Mysterio won. Oh my God, it was like the best thing ever. But it took forever to get there because if you know Miami, man, the traffic is ridiculous. They're always doing new construction, and then you have a lot of people that aren't familiar with the area, so you got a bunch of lost people just driving around. So it took us forever to get there, but I had left work early, and we left. I want to say my plan was to leave the house at 6. Good thing I didn't do that. We left at 5, so we ended up getting down there like about 6:30. We got into the building about 6:45. So just give you the whole thing. You get down there, you got all these parking lots trying to get you to park. So first place, they want $50 a park. In addition to what I paid for the tickets, now they want $50 a park. I'm like, nah, I'm good. If I can't get a better
a better parking, then I'll come back to you. So we ended up parking in the actual venue for $35 in the parking garage, which is cool. Which I found out for Miami Heat games, you can't park in the arena, but for any other event, you could park in the arena. That's crazy. Keela saying Miami's traffic is horrible. Absolutely. Yeah, Kaseya Center is the old Triple H. Because remember, it turned to AAA. I mean, it turned to FTX, and then FTX got hit with that scandal, so they changed the naming rights, and now Kaseya Center has it. Dog, Miami traffic is a drizzling shits for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is your first WWEP. Oh, hey, listen, you're gonna have so much fun. I'm not even gonna lie to you. What is Venkat saying? I don't think they can hit your channel with video from the arena if you use their copyright. I was thinking that, Venkat. That's why I said I'm gonna do it in my shorts. So worst case, even if they do, then I could be like, hey, this is my stock footage. So we get into the arena, and we were in section 104, so we had tremendous seats. So you have the floor level, and then you have the 100 level. So we were right at section 104. This is one of the views for my seats. I mean, this was fantastic view. I know people like to romanticize sitting on the floor and this and that. Is overrated, because when people are standing up, you can't see anything. It's just like when I go to Dolphin games, I don't like to sit in the lower bowl because you can't see anything. I like to be on top of the action because I like to see line play and everything like that. So you always want to see what's going on. We can see if there's going to be any run-ins and anything like that. It's just really good. I think that's now going to start being my new section, is in that area. There was another section that I scoped out, and I'm like, hey man, I'm a next time they go on sale, I'm getting these sections. The place was packed. I mean, there was probably like 20 empty seats in the entire place, man. Shout out to Wayne in the building. So yeah, it was probably like 20 empty seats in the entire building once the show started. It was packed. Now, what I will say is, because you always have people come on this channel, they come on the show, and they do it because they don't like me. They try to crap on us for being wrestling fans and this and that. There's like, oh, you're 40 years old watching wrestling. Let me tell you something. Everybody watches wrestling. I saw the most thuggy of thug guys there. I'm talking about dreads, gold teeth, mouth full of gold teeth, wearing multiple championship belts. I mean, so you could miss me with all this foolishness about being a nerd and blah. Well, okay, fine, I'm a nerd. Bro, there was dudes that you'd be afraid to walk down the street in a dark alley with their championship belts. And when they saw me with the winged eagle and the big goal, it was just that universal head nod, like, hey, I see you, bro. That's literally what it was. Like, hey, I see you. There was even a dude where both of us had the same winged eagle title, and he made his way over just so he could clank me. You know what I mean? Listen, wrestling, music, like Zay was telling me earlier, wrestling, music, things like that just are universally loved, and it brings people of all races, colors, creed, whatever. It just brings you out. Everybody has a good time. Stuff like this lets you know that people aren't as terrible as what you think they are. They just, we got differences. But when it comes to wrestling, football, things like that, I've been to tons of Dolphin games, and I sit next to the most redneck of redneck people, and we're dapping and high-fiving because we got a common goal there. And it's just like, hey, it is what it is, man. So the show started at 7:45. So before the show started, they went on air at 8 o'clock. Before the show started, you had a dark match. So you had the pre-show dark match, Cameron Grimes versus oh my God, don't tell me I forgot his name. The Olympian. Oh my goodness. Come on, Trevor. Gable. Not Chad Gable. What's the other Gable? Gable. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I can't. Gable Stevenson. That's his name. Gable Stevenson, the Olympian wrestler. and apparently he's a heel. So I always thought that Stevenson was a face, but he worked heel that match and he looked good. I saw him on NXT, and I know the NXT crowd didn't really care too much for him, but he's going to be a monster on the main roster. And Cameron Grimes is the perfect baby face for him to work. Stevenson worked a bear hug for like 10 minutes, and normally you would think the crowd would just crap on that. The crowd loved it because they knew the babyface comeback was coming. And Stevenson ended up winning the match, but it was a really good opener to get everybody hyped up and everything like that. And I mean, and it just took off from there. You felt the energy in the crowd before the fan. As the crowd was filing in the building, all you heard was a bunch of woos and a bunch of yeah. I mean, the whole night it was a woo and LA Knight. Yeah, that's all you heard. Nothing but LA Knight chants. Just LA Knight, LA Knight, LA Knight. LA Knight is over, and the Ric Flair woo is over. This was even before people was even coming in the ring, like I mean coming in the building, because at first I'm like, oh my goodness, they didn't sell any tickets because it was empty. But it's Florida. I mean, if you ever watch a Dolphin game, the Dolphin game doesn't get full to the middle of the first quarter, because Miami fans have no urgency. They don't care about being in the seats on time. But when the show started, this place was packed. Let me see what Xavier says. Last MIA show, I was at SmackDown while Kofi was champ. Oh, yeah, we were at that one too. Yeah, we were at that one too. That's when Shane McMahon, my daughter cried at that one too, because they beat up Shane McMahon at the end. Because for some reason she's a Shane McMahon fan. I can't understand that. But yeah, so they get started in the show, and so LA Knight, you know, you have the opening. Some Latin star who I don't know, he comes out. He introduces Randy Orton. The building blows off. When Orton came out, and I particularly, when I'm watching these things, I look at the women. And when Randy Orton came out, those women just were like, I'm like, hey, I get it. I get it. He came out. AJ Styles came out. LA Knight came out. They had their opening promo. See, wifey talking about Randy. Yeah, I saw the look in her eye. I get it. Hey, it's Randy Orton. It is what it is. So they had their opening promo, you know, just to set up what's going on for the night. So then you had the first match. First match was Carlito versus Santos Escobar. Really good match. The crowd loves Carlito. Again, when you're at these shows, if you've never been there live, during the commercials, so Carlito came out and then the lights went dim, and you know they're in commercial break then, so they're just in the ring, you know, doing nothing, and then they bring it back on. They're playing commercials while you're in the building, and then Escobar comes out. Really good match. You had Carlito came out with the LWO with Zelina. Santos came out. They're back to using Legado del Fantasma, so he came out with Garza and Humberto Carrillo. I love that faction. And then what I love even more about the faction is towards the end, Zelina Vega is on the ring. All of a sudden, where we were sitting, you could see her running out. So you could see the person running out. I'm like, that's weird. Who is this girl that they just got running down here? Elektra Lopez comes out, wipes Zelina off of the ring apron. Elektra Lopez is back with Legado del Fantasma. If you remember, when they first debuted on SmackDown, Elektra Lopez was with them, but I think they figured she wasn't ready yet, so they sent her back down to NXT. But thank again, Triple H, being the man that he is, brought her back up. So now you got a woman in the faction. It writes itself. It makes it a million times better. So I can't wait to see how they continue to go with that. A lot of crowd heat for this match, man. Carlito is really, really over still. It's crazy. Carlito's been gone for so long and came back, and the crowd just loves him. I mean, he is just over, man. It was awesome. Santos Escobar is a star. I'm glad they took the mask off of him. He's a superstar. So the next match, Oh man, oh my goodness, the next match. So for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Women Tag Team Championships, you had Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter against the Kabuki Warriors. I felt so bad for Casey and Caden. The crowd could have cared less about them, and I blame WWE for that. These girls are really good. They were great in NXT, but WWE does this thing that they think that everybody that watches NXT translate over to the main roster. That's the reason why in NXT, what's her name? You have Indy Hartwell and what's Johnny Gargano's wife? I forget her name. They could go to NXT and be megastars, but when they're on the main roster, it's crickets. So Casey and Caden won the tag team titles a couple of weeks ago. And they're really good in ring. They remind me kind of like the Jumping Bomb Angels. That's probably a group only Venkat will know what I'm talking about with that. But they are like just that real quick tandem offense. And the crowd was into it, but the crowd loves Asuka more. So literally, as the faces are, getting the heat on the heels, the crowd is just erupting into Asuka chants. Like the whole night is like Asuka. I mean, everybody's just cheering for Asuka. And I listened back to the show. I watched the show when I got this morning, earlier when I woke up, and they even had to bring light to it on commentary. They were like, "Hey, this is a pretty vocal crowd, and they just love Asuka." Like, so they were saying like, "Man, we were hoping it didn't go that way, but it did." This was a really good match, man. It took a while for the crowd to warm up to Casey and Caden, but when they did, because they got some really, really great moves. I just wish when they debuted them on the main roster that they would have went on a run and built them up to being like formidable champions, because now they're champions, and then you have them going against the Kabuki Warriors. Guess what? I want the Kabuki Warriors to win because I love Asuka. I love Kairi Sane. Asuka and Kairi Sane retain they regain the WWE Tag Team Women's Championships. I looked over to the left of me and my daughter was in tears. You hear me when I say a meltdown? It wasn't as bad as when Bianca loses, but it was a meltdown nevertheless. And I just had to look straight because I'm just like, oh my goodness, they got her. It's still real to her, damn it. Like they got her. And then Damage Control comes out. Damage Control comes out. They do the pyro, which we weren't expecting that. So that scared her even more because the pyro just is insanely loud. What I didn't catch being in the arena, but I caught it while watching it back today, is Bailey was trying to give them high fives and they kept going to the other members. Nobody acknowledged Bailey, which furthermore solidifies what I said tonight. Bailey is winning the Women's Royal Rumble. We are getting the Hugger Bailey back versus Io Sky at WrestleMania. I said that. Remember, I said that. Nobody else was saying that but me. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble is tonight. Royal Rumble is my favorite event, but I will not be watching it live because we're going to the circus tonight. So I'm turning off my phone because I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want anybody to be like, oh yeah, because I'm not going to watch it until probably later tonight. Once it's almost over, then I'll start watching it, but I don't want to be spoiled. So I'm going to turn off all devices. I'm not getting no emails, nothing. Nobody's going to spoil me on this. I'm going to watch it just like it's happening live, but we will be having our Royal Rumble review come Wednesday. That will be part 1 of Wrestling with Reality. So you had this match. Then you had the confrontation, what was billed as a face-to-face between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, which they still haven't given them a name, and the Final Testament. Like I say, I got video for all this. It's just that I don't want to run the risk of putting it up. But I'm going to do it on the shorts. So Bobby and the Street Profits are in the ring. The fans love Bobby Lashley. My goodness. I mean, Bobby the Bobby chants were just going, were deafening in there. They love Bobby Lashley. So the Final Testament comes out looking menacing as hell. Scarlett comes in the ring. What I did not like, because I was audibly yelling at my section, is when Paul Ellering started talking, the crowd was chanting him. They got to do better. I mean, these crowd, I get it. They don't really know. They don't know history. They don't care about the history of the business. But when you have Precious Paul Ellering about to cut a promo, you shut your mouth and you let him cut his promo. So Karrion Kross gets the mic, and Karrion Kross makes the cardinal mistake. The fans start chanting him, and he acknowledged it. Oh my goodness, when he acknowledged it, they eviscerated him. I mean, it just kept getting louder and louder. You would have thought Dirty Dominic Mysterio was out there, as loud as those boos were. He should have never acknowledged it. He just kept cutting his promo. They got to teach him better than that. You cannot acknowledge that. These fans love to try to get themselves over, which is fine. I mean, you go to the wrestling shows, you want to have fun, but you got to let the guy get through his promo. You got to. So this was my disappointment of the night. Like, I really didn't like it, because I didn't like how they cut off Precious Paul Ellering. As a 1980s wrestling fan, Road Warriors, you don't disrespect Paul Ellering. I remember when Paul Ellering debuted with the Authors of Pain in NXT, those fans had the audacity to chant, "Who are you?" I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, you're in a wrestling show and you don't know who Precious Paul Ellering is? Like, hey, it is crazy though. But you know, that this was my one sour point of the night. This, and there was no Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, they only showed her backstage in the pre-tape. She wasn't there live. I mean, I would have loved for her to be there live, because my daughter would have lost her mind. So next up, we had Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory. A rematch in the match from a couple of weeks ago where those two got hurt. Good match. Man, Austin Theory in person, I see why Vince McMahon loved him so much. That's a big guy. Like, he is that. If there's a prototypical Vince McMahon guy, that's him. So to the end of the match, Austin Theory wins the match. Austin Theory wins the match by cheating. Grayson Waller comes in. The beatdown is happening, and I'm looking at the guy next to me, and I said, bro, this would be the perfect time for Trick Williams to come out. And lo and behold, you heard that music hit. And because I'd been saying, Trick Williams is over in NXT. He got to be the most over person in NXT. I was saying that they should debut him in the Royal Rumble. That way the crowd will get to know who he is. So when he does finally come up to the main roster, it wouldn't be like, hey, who is this guy? When the first chord of his music hit, that place erupted. And those whoop that trick, that whoop that trick chants was so loud in that building. And I'm just sitting there with the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, yep, they got a new megastar, because all they needed was for the crowd to recognize who he was. And the guy is big. He's imposing. He has a good look. He's getting better in the ring. He's charismatic. And he's probably going to be the NXT champion soon. But that's another thing. We'll review that New Year's Eve when that comes up, or whatever it's called. I forget the new show that they have coming up. But Trick Williams, man, the crowd, it came off on TV good, but you had to have been there in the building to hear how over Trick was. You know, I saw the little interaction with him and Carmelo, with him saying, I came out here to save you because we got a match Tuesday, but it wasn't really like they were cool, because, you know, they're doing that whole thing. I almost thought Carmelo was going to attack him just because it's the jealousy. Carmelo is the bigger star. He's the former NXT champion. He's the one that has the bigger name, but Trick Williams is the one that everybody loves. You know, it's Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty all over again. Trick Williams is absolutely going to be the bigger star. Carmelo is a better wrestler, but Trick has the complete package. And man, the whoop that Trick. The only thing I'm concerned about is that 3-6 Mafia would send WWE a cease and desist not to use that whoop that Trick, because you know that's from the movie Hustle and Flow, and that's a 3-6 Mafia song. So I hope that they don't do that, because 3-6 Mafia did Mark Henry's theme on one of the WWE projects. So hopefully they got a good relationship. But hey, that Trick Williams thing is over as hell. Yeah, Trick, Trick is gonna cross over to that other audience, just like I say, Jade Cargill. They're gonna get that core black audience that the company sorely needs. So hey, look for big things from Trick, man. That it was awesome. So then you had the main event, LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. So here's what happened in this. It's a LA Knight match. Me and Venkat got into this argument on Wednesday. I told you LA Knight is 100% character, look, presentation, but in the ring, he's probably as mid as you're going to get in the ring. He does a lot of punch kicks. You know, it is what it is. Fantastic character though. I'd have loved for him to beat Roman at Crown Jewel, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. So they're having their match. My daughter looks over to me and my daughter says, "Daddy, I'm hungry." I'm like, oh God, I knew it was going to happen. I'm like, because before we sat down, I'm like, hey, you want anything? You need anything? You want anything? Because I know how these things work. You're sitting there long. Like me, I could just, I could wait until we leave, whatever. But, you have a little kid with you. You knew the inevitable was going to happen. She didn't take any bathroom breaks, but you knew you were going to get that, "Daddy, I'm hungry." So I'm like, oh God, this is the main event, because they're going to have that one chaotic moment at the end, and I'm probably going to miss it. So my wife ordered because you could do this thing where you scan a QR code on the chair and you could order ahead, kind of like DoorDash, and then you just go get it when it's ready. So she ordered the pizza. I'm like, cool, I got to go to the bathroom anyway. So I leave to go. I'm standing out there waiting. They closed the Papa John's. I'm like, yo, everybody's watching me. It was already paid for. So everybody's watching me standing there like, hey, what's going on? They got the cage closed down and everything. I'm like, oh no. And I just hear the crowd going crazy. I'm like, no. Like I'm missing the main event. So and then so the guy, I get the guy's attention. I'm like, bro, we just ordered this pizza and it said to be ready such and such. He was like, he said, fam, we've been closed like for 30 minutes. I'm like, no, man, but y'all already charged us for it. And he said, all right. He said, I got you. He said, what kind of pizza you want? So I was like, I looked and I said, she ordered a cheese. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna just give you this free one too. So the guy ended up giving us 2 pizzas. So I hurried up and got back just in time for AJ Styles to come in and cause the disqualification. So I didn't get to see the bulk of this match. But again, it's an LA Knight Solo Sikoa match. It's just going to be a lot of punch, kick, brawl, things like that. So so that match was over. The fans are going crazy, yelling for Randy. The fans are just cheering for Randy. Randy comes out, clears house, cleans house. LA Knight hits him with the blunt force trauma. And then LA Knight leaves. The show goes off the air. Randy Orton's walking up the aisleway. And then in one of the coolest moments of the night, Randy Orton stops, comes back, and every fan that was down at ringside, he went and personally dapped up every last one of them. He took selfies with all of them. So that's the beauty about being down there. You get that experience. But as far as viewing it, is just like, because you're so level to the ring, you kind of don't want to see that. But Randy spent like 5 to 10 minutes just down there with the fans, dapping everybody up. It was awesome, man. Those kids, people were like running down to him, and he like literally, you could see they were wrapping them up, and he was telling them basically like, nah, I'm with the fans. And he took time and signed everything. And then did all of that. Speaking of signs, so we're outside trying to get in, and there's this kid that had a sign. I didn't see what his sign said, but they took his sign. And that wasn't the only person's sign they confiscated. Being an old school wrestling fan, you used to watch those old Monday Night Raws, nothing but signs in the arena. You literally see nothing but signs in the arena. And I'm like, why are they taking people's signs? And then during the night, they did a segment called Show Us Your Signs. So it was like, you're taking people's signs, but then at the same time, you're telling them to show the signs off. And it was a little kid, so it's not like he had a creative sign where he was going to say something crazy like Vince McMahon go to hell or something. Like, he wasn't going to do anything like that. So I just thought that was really weird, man. I didn't like that they took the kid's sign, and you had people like sneaking signs in and things like that. Hell, I wanted to bring in a Wrestling with Reality sign, but I didn't want them to take it. I just kind of figured it was going to get taken, so I wasn't even going to try to do that. But overall, man, great show. And then, but that wasn't it, because they had 2 main events scheduled for the night after they went off air. So after the TV show was off, it was been advertised locally that you were going to get Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. But we all know what happened to Seth Rollins, so we knew that that we weren't getting any Seth Rollins match. So they replaced him with The Miz. Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. Oh, that was so great. Listen, The Miz, Miz has been doing this for a long time, and he's come a long way. And people have crapped on Miz. People have talked bad about Miz. But Miz, if one thing, Miz is very, very consistent. And Drew McIntyre is an excellent performer in person. He plays to the crowd. Drew was the heel, but yeah, it didn't matter. It was like a house show match, and they basically just were playing to the crowd, playing the hits. It was awesome. Drew ends up winning with a Claymore for the 1, 2, 3. And then the final match of the night saw main event Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Listen, Judgment Day's entrance live is so awesome. I mean, my goodness. With that big eagle wing or whatever that is, their logo, it's on the Titantron, and to see Damian Priest come out and all the fog, it's so awesome. But I gotta tell you, in terms of who was the most over of the night, I'd say the loudest reaction, I gotta give it to Randy Orton, just because he had the loudest consistent reaction. Randy Orton, number 1, LA Knight, number 2, Trick Williams, number 3, but number 4 was main event Jey Uso. My goodness. When I've seen it on TV, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, is he really like this? But when that Uso, and he came out and he started doing the, the raising, the little hand movement thing that he does, I got another video of that too. No, that one didn't record. For some reason, it didn't record. I'm very curious to see what the attendance was last night. I got to go to WrestleTix and see what the attendance was. But main event Jey Uso had the entire arena doing that hand movement, and the entire night it was Yeet versus no Yeet, because Jey Uso is Yeet. Jimmy Uso is no Yeet. That's all the whole night, just dueling Yeet, no Yeet chance. Like every break, Yeet, no Yeet. It was man, Jey Uso. I didn't know for sure how it was going to be when they broke him and his brother up and put them on separate brands, but it is working for Jey Uso. Jey Uso is over to no end. I mean, man, hey, I bet. I mean, I know he loves tagging with his brother and everything, but I know he loves this run. When he gets these, when these shows are over and he goes back and he gets to listen to these reactions and things like this, it is working for him. It is working for him. They did a fantastic job getting him away from the bloodline. and it is awesome. This whole main event Jey Uso thing is awesome. It just works. It works to perfection. He is so over with the crowd. And when I say wrestling is that thing that brings people together. So on one hand, you'll be like, oh man, certain people think that hip hop is stupid and blah, blah, blah. But when his song hits and he gets on that rope and he starts doing that hand move, it's just like during one of the commercials, they had a DX cam where they were just going around telling everybody to do your best DX impersonation. You had little kids doing the suck it. You had old people doing the suck it. I mean, it was, listen, wrestling is fun. So to all you idiots, dummies that say wrestling is not a good thing and say that we shouldn't be watching wrestling, you're stupid. And that's just as plain as I could put it. This last night's show was fantastic. You know, my only downside to the show was no Bianca Belair appearance, and I did not like the way they what chanted on Paul Ellering. I hated that. I mean, I think that's low rent. I think that's terrible. I just do not like it at all. But yeah, man, besides that, fantastic show. If you got a chance to watch wrestling live, if they come into your area, go. Regardless of what you think about WWE, and we'll get to Vince McMahon Wednesday. We'll get to him Wednesday. But regardless of what you think about WWE, if you get a chance to go. Next time AEW is in town, I'm going. I go to indie. I go to, me and my family go to local indie shows. You know, we were supposed to go to one last month, a couple of weeks ago, but you know, the times got crossed up and we couldn't go. So we're looking to go to one shortly. But we go to local independent shows. Any wrestling show that you could go to, man, support wrestling, man. Stop letting people tell you that you shouldn't be watching it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you've been watching football since you were a kid. You ain't going to stop watching football. There's not going to be a day where I'm not going to watch the Dolphins play. Even though I did make a statement, I am not a Dolphins fan. So you can't categorize me with the Dolphins fans. I'm not a Dolphins fan. I'm a fan of the Miami Dolphins football team. There's a big difference because Dolphins fans want you to get rid of Tua. They want you to fire Mike McDaniel. I can't be involved in that craziness. That's just ridiculousness to me. I am a fan of the Miami Dolphins, and I am a fan of professional wrestling. I've been since I was 5 years old. I will always be a fan of it. And it is what it is there. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So there you have it. There's my review of Smackdown. Just want to tell you guys how the live experience was. Fantastic, man. Hey, Miami, do better. You got to do better with them roads, man. I feel like they've been working on those roads. The last Smackdown I was at was in 2013. That's the last time I went that they were here, and they were still working on those same roads. Come on, man. You got to do better. I've been to tons of events after that in that same arena, and they've still been working on the same roads. You got to fix the roads, man. Just fix the roads. It's ridiculous. You know, you got all this money. Now they're charging for toll. They're charging to use the express lane. All that extra money needs to go into fixing these roads up. Get these roads fixed. It's crazy. Just fix the roads so people's commutes are a little bit better, and stop robbing people with the parking. I mean, $50 to park, $50 to park after you already paid $100 for a ticket. Capitalism at its finest. I know Venkat and MD would love that one. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm out of here. Enjoy Royal Rumble tonight. Don't try to spoil me because I'm going to have my phone turned off. So I'm not going to get it anyway. Enjoy Royal Rumble. It's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be a great show. Check out our Royal Rumble prediction show on Wrestling with Reality that we did this past Wednesday. Just check out everything that we got going on. I got 2 more new debates that I got to add. I just haven't had the time to make the flyers. I'll do that tomorrow. Hey, man, just enjoy life. Hey, stop being so negative about everything. Just enjoy life, man. Life is too short. Enjoy the things that you love. Love the people that you love. Hug and appreciate the people that you love. Hey, and stop all this internet foolishness. All of you guys, everybody plays a character online. I am a character. Mr. Straight Talk is regular old Trevor just turned up by 100. I mean, just Everybody plays a character on the internet. We're all fighting for space. We're all fighting for the same viewers. It is what it is, man. You could excel in your own lane. Just be great in what you do. You don't have to try to tear everybody else down in what they do. So with all that being said, I'm going to get ready for this circus. We will be back Monday for Man Talk Monday. Man Talk Monday will be back live in effect this Monday. Tape Fist Politics, a doubleheader wrestling with reality. We got a debate on Thursday. We got a debate on Friday. And we got a debate on Saturday. So you guys are going to be locked and loaded over here on the Straight Talk Society. With all that being said, I leave you with these words. Always seek out the truth for yourself. Because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. Until Monday, peace.
And the bitch
Now the whole world can acknowledge me.
You'll get the shit. You'll be knee deep in the shit.
Brother, I'm gonna take you home.
What?
You're gonna be mine. The mountain will be mine. The world will be mine. Somebody.